For this reason, we want to highlight a contemporary artist who epitomizes the struggle for acceptance and recognition. Norma Sklarek was the first African-American woman to become a licensed architect in the state of New York and California and has designed many notable works. Let's hear from Sarah as she gives us a review of this remarkable architect. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Jacques. Yes, so Norma Merrick Sklarek was born in Harlem, New York. She was the only child of Walter Ernest Merrick, a doctor, and Amy Merrick, a seamstress, both of whom had immigrated from Trinidad. She grew up in Harlem and Brooklyn and attended predominantly white schools, including Hunter College High School, a selective public school for girls, where she excelled in math and science and showed talent in the fine arts. She had a particularly close relationship with her father, who spent time with her fishing, house painting, and doing carpentry. Her aptitude for both math and art prompted her father to suggest architecture as a career. Eventually, she graduated from Columbia in 1950 with a bachelor's in architecture, one of two women in her class, and the only African American. Today, we will look at some of her most notable works. So this will look familiar to anyone from Los Angeles or anyone that has traveled through LAX. In 1980, Norma Merrick Sklarek came on as project director for a $50 million domestic passenger terminal at LAX. It was completed in January 1984, well ahead of the millions of tourists expected for that summer's Olympics. This was one of Sklarek's larger projects. At first, the architects working on the airport were skeptical because a female was in charge of the project, Sklarek recalled. But a number of projects were going on there at the time, and mine was the only one on schedule. The distinctive white building resembles a flying saucer that has landed on its four legs. The appearance of the building as a single homogeneous structure is a constructed illusion. The building's two crossed arches actually consist of four steel-reinforced concrete legs that extend approximately 15 feet above the ground, and a hollow stucco-covered steel truss consisting on the remaining lower arches and the entire upper arches. The famous rotating restaurant up top, called The Encounter, officially closed its doors in 2013, and in 2018, the Bob Hope USO opened on the ground floor of the building. An instant cultural icon when it opened in 1975, the Pacific Design Center's Blue Building established West Hollywood as an internationally renowned design district. The audacious building, widely known as the Blue Whale, marked a watershed for Los Angeles architecture, boldly taking center stage in a city known for the spotlight. Here you can see its resemblance to the Crystal Palace, built in 1851 in Hyde Park, London, to showcase the Great Exhibition in 1851 to display examples of technology during the Industrial Revolution. Today, the Pacific Design Center houses hundreds of the top design, architecture, and furniture companies. The green building was finished in 1988, and the red building was completed in 2013. San Bernardino City Hall is a 6-story building designed in 1963 and finished in 65 to reflect the urban environment around it. The City Hall is modernist in style. It has curtain walls and is clad entirely in glass with slim aluminum mullions. Like many female architects in corporate firms, for most of her career, Sklarek served as a project manager rather than a design architect. So this actually means that she's not credited with being the architect on these projects. Rather, her collaborator at the time, Cesar Pelli, is the named architect for the project, for this one in particular, as well as the Pacific Design Center. So here's one that she is credited with alongside Cesar Pelli. This is the US Embassy in Tokyo, completed in 1976. And she believed that, quote, architecture should be working on improving the environment of people in their homes, in their places of work, and their places of recreation. It should be functional and pleasant, not just the image of the ego of the architect. So on the left in this slide is the California Mart, also known as the California Market Center. It was built in the early 1960s and is located in the center of downtown LA's Fashion District. Like the Pacific Design Center, it's home to many different wholesalers and outfitters and serves as a central building for the Fashion District. On the right is the Mall of America, located in Minneapolis. The project started in 1989 and officially opened in 1992. The Mall of America is the largest retail and entertainment complex in the United States, encompassing 5.6 million square feet of building area. Sklarek again worked with Cesar Pelli on The Commons, which is a community event space and resource center in Columbus, Indiana. As a piece of architecture, the Commons was always very controversial. It was a large complex covered in reflective brown glass. The bronze-tinted glass was chosen as the best glass technology at the time to provide a transparent view from the inside, but avoiding excess glare and heat gain. During the day, it was a one-way view with tremendous views to the street, especially showcasing the facades of the older storefronts across the street with the reflection of the glass. The interior of the Commons was nicely landscaped with plants and small trees, and was the classic idea of blurring the difference between inside and out. In the evening, as we can see here, the interior view opened up to the street, and one could always get a quick look on what was happening inside as someone walked or drove by. Sklarek also designed the mixed-use Fox Plaza building in San Francisco. Fox Plaza is a 29-story building located at 1390 Market Street in the Civic Center area of San Francisco. The tower was built in 1966 on the site of the former historic Fox Theater, which opened in June 1929 and was demolished in 1963. The first 12 floors contain office space. And unlike many buildings, Fox Plaza actually has a 13th floor labeled 13, but this floor is a service floor and it's not rented out. The 14th floor is a gym and laundry facilities with some apartments, and then floors 15 through 29 are exclusively rental apartments. In 1985, Sklarek started her own architecture firm with two others, Margot Siegel and Catherine Diamond. It was the largest women-owned architectural firm in the country and the first practice to be co-owned by a Black woman. According to a Los Angeles Times article published the year after their founding, Siegel, Sklarek, Diamond had a portfolio of nearly a dozen large projects in Southern California with a value of more than $25 million. Their work covered a broad breadth and depth of categories, including educational facilities and community buildings, as well as commercial and industrial projects. The projects that Siegel, Sklarek, Diamond took on included the Student Counseling and Resource Center seen here. Norma Sklarek had a formidable career, receiving numerous accolades and awards. Here's her fellowship award from the American Institute of Architects, as well as her Whitney M. Young Jr. Award. And in 2007, she received the Lifetime Achievement Award from President Bush. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of Norma Sklarek's notable works, and I will see you all next week.
Thank you, Sarah. I will be thinking about Norma each time I fly into LAX, and that building in particular was something as a kid I was always mesmerized by, so it's definitely impressive.